Hey guys, today I'm here to share my makeup inventory. We are now halfway through the year, and I tend to do these videos every 6 months or so just to take a look at how much makeup I currently have in each category. So I went through all my makeup, counted everything, I took photos of every category, and we're going to compare what I own now to what I owned at the start of the year. I was really interested to see how my collection has changed since the beginning of the year. I did just finish up a big declutter series before we moved, so I downsized quite a bit, but also some new things have come in through PR, and I also wanted to have a little chat about PR because this year I have started receiving a lot more PR. I think just as my channel has grown, more brands have reached out to send it. And as you probably know, I'm really picky about what I buy, and I really don't buy a whole lot of makeup. And so as the PR has increased, so has the size of my collection, but I don't necessarily want my collection to just be overrun with products I got in PR. So I have some thoughts about how to approach PR moving forward, but first let's go ahead and take a look at my inventory numbers as they stand right now. Some categories have stayed pretty similar and some have really changed. Starting with primer, I had 3 primers at the beginning of the year. I now have 4. I feel pretty good about that. I don't use primer every day, so really like under 5 is pretty much where I like to stay. Next, for foundation. So I had 5 foundations when we started off 2023, and I now have 7. I decided not to count my ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation because this one might as well be done. I have probably 5 uses left in here, if that. So I figured, I mean, this might as well be empty, so I didn't want to count it towards my current inventory when it won't be in my collection within a couple of weeks. So if you do count that one, I have 8, but really it's more like 7. My concealer collection, I also just include color correctors in this category. I had 5 at the beginning of the year and I have 5 now. I did use up one of the concealers that I had at the beginning of the year, which was the Kosas Revealer Concealer, and then I also now have the Sigma color corrector. This is a duo, but I'm just counting it as one product because it actually has less product in it than most color correctors combined. So that is the new corrector that joined this category this year. Okay, one category I'm really happy with is face powder. I started the year with 2 face powders and now I have just 1. The 2 I started the year with actually now are both empty, the e.l.f. Halo Glow and the Kosas Cloud Set. I finished both of those within the last 6 months, and the only one that I've bought since then is the LYS pressed powder, and I already have huge pan in this as well. I guess that's what happens when you only have one product in a category, you hit pan faster. But one of you pointed out this actually does have less powder in it than a lot of other pressed powders, so I do like this powder, but honestly I don't think I would get it again. I think it's nice, but I don't think it's anything better than the CoverGirl pressed powder, the one in the pink compact that I used to love. I would probably get that one instead of this one in the future because that one does come with more product. And honestly, I can't really tell the difference between the two. Another category that I'm so happy with is setting spray. I started the year with 2 setting sprays and I now just have 1. So I finished the Makeup Revolution Fix and Glow. That one is done, so now I just have my mini Urban Decay all-nighter, which really I only have for special occasions, like days where I need my makeup to wear, for 12 plus hours, but most days I don't wear setting spray at all. Sometime soon I would like to get another glowy fixing spray like the Makeup Revolution one. I think I want to try something new, but I'm not in any hurry either. I really don't feel like setting spray is something that I need to complete a makeup look. I mean, I feel like I've been doing just fine without that type of product. So there was a time in the past where I would have, immediately gone out and bought something new because I finished it, but I'm just fine now with not having one, and lo and behold, I'm doing fine. And really for categories like powder, setting spray, and even complexion products, I really prefer to keep those nice and small. For powder and setting spray, I don't really feel the need to have more than 1 or 2. I really like just having 1 and just using that until it's finished and then buying a new one. But then there are other categories where I do like to have a wider variety of options, one of those being blush. So blush is a category where it's usually higher than I want it to be, but also, I just like having a lot of blush, so I've just made peace with it, honestly. I started off the year with 17 blushes, I now have 18. 19 if you count my cream Franken blush, which is really close to being done, so I also went ahead and just didn't count this because I don't know. It's not going to be in my collection for much longer. And of those 18 blushes, 8 are powder and 10 are cream. Next, for highlighter, I started the year with 15, and this is one I'm really happy about. I am now down to 8 highlighters. That is the fewest highlighters I have had in years. I feel like for the past couple of years I've been around 15, just pretty much steadily. In fact, at the beginning of 2021 I had 18. So this number has gone down, and honestly, I feel like 8 is a beautiful number of highlighters to have, because like when I went to take these photos, I was looking at the picture of the highlighters and I was like, is that really all of the highlighters that I have right now? And yeah, so 6 of them are powder and then 2 of them are cream, and those are both in a dual-ended contour and highlight stick. So I count that as one highlighter, and I also count it as one bronzer. And that's good with me. I wear powder highlighter 99% of the time. I rarely wear cream highlighter, so it makes sense that most of them are powders, and I'm really happy with this sized highlighter collection. I would love for it to stay around 8. I'm sure it might grow a little bit, but I think, having it under 10, that's a big win for me. And then for bronzer and contour, I started the year with 9, and I now have 9 again. They're not the same 9 that I started the year with. 3 of those are powders, and the other 6 are creams or liquid, and I'm happy with that number. I feel like under 10 in any cheek category for me is a good amount. Next, eye primers. This category has stayed exactly the same as it was at the beginning of the year. I started the year with 4. I currently have the same 4. 2 of those are regular eye primers, one of which is still not done. I think I took the stopper out of this in December of last year, and I'm still finishing up the last bits. Now I'm digging out what's left of the bottom. There's so much in here. This is the CoverGirl Lid Lockup Primer. So the other one that I have is still ready to be used once this is done, and then I have my NYX Glitter Primer and my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, which I count in this category because it's kind of like an eye base. So that's where we are with that. That category is usually pretty small. Same with brows. I started the year with 4. I currently have 5. And I just count any and all brow products in one category. So brow gels, pencils, pomades, all of it gets lumped together. Right now I have one brow pomade, the ABH Dip Brow. This has remained a constant in my collection for a few years now. Wearing it today. The NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Pen I also have in my brows right now. I have 2 brow pencils, actually. I normally don't have brow pencils, but these 2 I got in PR, and I kept them because they are both on the more warm-toned side, and I've been experimenting with coloring my hair red this year, so I just use temporary color depositing hair masks, so it's nice to have something to adjust the color of my brows when my hair is more red. So those are both from Koki. I have blonde and auburn, and I usually just mix the 2 together. And then I have 1 clear brow gel. So I think that's a good little collection of brow products. I have pretty much everything I need. I do miss having a tinted brow gel, but I can do without right now, especially because I've been really just using my dip brow most days, and then I'll go over it with a clear brow gel. And sometimes if I feel like I need a little more structure in my brows like I did today, I use my NYX brow pen. So I think I have a pretty good versatile brow collection right now. For eyeshadow palettes, anything with 5 or more pans gets counted in this category. I started the year with 25, I now have 33. This number, it's always kind of fluctuating. I feel like this year I've received a lot of palettes in PR, and I think I'm gonna start being more picky about which ones I keep, because, like I said, we'll get into that towards the end of the video. We'll talk more about PR, but the number has gone up just because of palettes I've gotten in PR. So that's where we are now, 33. It's a little more than I would like to have, because I feel like I'm not able to really get to know all of them and use all of them, so that's something I'm kind of trying to figure out right now, but at the same time, I don't think 33 is too bad. Then I have a category for trios and quads. This one has gone down since the beginning of the year, so I'm really happy about that. I started the year with 8, and I am now down to 5. So that feels good. I feel like 5 is a really good number. And I'm really happy with the 5 that I have. These are just the 5 that survived my declutter. I decluttered quite a few of my other quads. And these, I feel like they all are a little bit different from each other, so I've got some good variety, but it's also not like a huge collection of quads. So I don't feel like I need that many, just to select few that are, nice to travel with or just for a quick everyday look. So that's what we've got in that category. My magnetic singles collection actually has grown since the beginning of the year, but that's because I depotted some palettes. So any shadows that I kept from depotted palettes, I just add into my magnetic singles collection. So that's why this collection has grown. I started the year with 13 and now have 19. I did declutter a few of my existing singles when I did my declutter, and then I also depotted some ColourPop palettes. I depotted my Shared Planet Polar Bear palette, so all of the shades I kept from those are now in this category. But I feel like now I'm happier with my collection of magnetic singles than I ever have been before. I used to feel like the ones that I had they were so random, like they just looked so random. I just had them all in one big Z palette, and now I just have them arranged in 3 smaller palettes. So I have one smaller palette that has my like pastels and slightly more colorful shades. I have another small one that just has some cooler tone shadows, the ones that came from my Shared Planet palette, and then a couple other just random singles I had that fit in there. That go well with that color scheme, and then I have my 3 Clarity singles in their own little trio. And looking at them this way feels a lot more aesthetically pleasing to me than my previous collection of singles. And if you're wondering, the BH Cosmetics Lost in Los Angeles palette that I depotted, I kept all the shades from that one, so that one I'm still counting in my palette category because I just keep those shades all together. I really just depotted it because I wanted to be able to arrange them in a different order. Then I have a category for singles that are not magnetic, and this includes any kind of potted single, cream shadow, or eyeshadow stick. And I started the year with 8 of these, and I now have 12. I bought 2 ColourPop Super Shock shadows this year, and I also added a couple of eyeshadow sticks from Hard Candy that I received in PR, so that's where the new ones came from. The last eyeshadow category is liquid shadows. I actually have the same number of liquid shadows now as I did at the beginning of the year, but the only one that I still have from the beginning of the year is the LA Girl Liquid Glitter Shadow. The 3 Black Moon cosmetic shadows that I had, those all dried out, so those are no longer with us. And then the Kaja one I ended up passing on because I received it in PR and never used it. So and then the 4 new ones I have were from Hard Candy. So that is where we are now. For eyeliners, I started the year with 13. I now have 14. I do think this is more eyeliners than I would like to have at one time. I don't feel like I need quite this many. And I think I have decided to no longer purchase very many like colorful eyeliners, both liquid and pencil, unless it's a color that I just think I'm going to wear all the time. I do have a couple of colorful pencil liners that I really like, and I'm glad I have, like the Urban Decay one in the shade Overdrive. I love this color green. Even though I don't wear it all the time, I still just love this color so much. So with the exception of maybe a select few colorful options, I really don't think I need to have more than a handful of eyeliners. So I would like to try to get my eyeliner collection down to maybe 10 or fewer because, I don't know, I just think 14 is just more than necessary. For mascara, I started the year with 3 and I now have 2. Usually my mascara collection is pretty small. This is another one where I just, I don't really view it as a category where I need to have a lot of options. I usually just have 1 or 2, maybe like a third one on backup, and that's it. Last but not least, we have lip products. So I have this in 3 different categories: lipstick, lip gloss, and lip liner. My lipstick collection, I'm happy to say, is a little bit smaller than it was at the beginning of the year. I started off the year with 25, I now have 23. This category also includes like tinted balms and just really anything in stick form. I'm happy to say though that I no longer have any liquid lipsticks in my collection, which feels so good because for the longest time I just had a few old ones like hanging around that I didn't really like. They kind of got on my nerves because I don't like wearing liquid lipsticks anymore. And so I finally just decluttered all of them at the end of last year. Feels so good to just be rid of those because I felt like they were just like haunting me. I know that sounds dramatic, but so now my lip collection is really just bullet lipsticks and then some tinted balms. Honestly, lately I don't wear lipstick, like traditional lipstick, very often. I pretty much only wear it to film. But in day-to-day life, I don't really go out wearing lipstick. Usually I'm just wearing either a gloss or a tinted balm, maybe a lip stain, something more sheer and comfortable. I don't know, I can't be bothered with really like opaque lipsticks anymore unless I'm doing a dedicated makeup look. And I do a lot of makeup looks that require lipstick, but usually it's for filming rather than just, out and about day-to-day life. But actually going through and counting these, 6 of my 23 lipsticks are really more like tinted balms and sheer products, also including like my Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips here. And then the rest are more opaque lipstick colors. So that would be, what, 17 lipsticks, which actually is pretty good. I think that's a good number because I still have some options, and I'm sure I will get back into wearing lipsticks more often, but these days I've just been more into just sheer products, which I think really that's how I am every summer. I usually get back into lipstick more in the fall and winter. And I think within the lipsticks I have a good variety and a good mix. I don't really have any like repeated shades, so I'm happy with that. Then for lip gloss, and then I do also include lip stains in this category, really just because the ones I have are somewhat glossy as it is. And then I also include lip oils here because to me, lip oils and lip glosses are kind of the same thing. So for this one, I started the year with 9 and I now have 11, so it's gotten a little bit bigger, but not too much. And I'm happy to say my lip liner category has actually decreased since the beginning of the year. I started 2023 with 8 lip liners. I now have 7, but I'm soon to be down to 6. I did go ahead and include my Mented Peach lip pencil here. I'm not sure why. I guess like if I didn't include my ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation, I probably should have left this one out too, because this one will be done within a couple of weeks as well. This is all that's left of this one, but I went ahead and counted it towards my current number. So I have 7 now, but I will soon be down to just 6 lip liners. Yeah, this will be my 3rd lip liner that I've used up this year. Oh, and I wanted to add one more category, and that is false lashes. I've had false lashes in my collection for a while, but for some reason I've just never thought to have a category for that in my makeup inventory, but it is still very much a part of my collection, so I wanted to go ahead and add that category in. So I don't know how many I had at the beginning of the year, but right now I have 6 sets of false lashes and 1 lash glue. I don't wear false lashes very often, but sometimes I like to experiment. So that's where we are with that one. So that is where my inventory numbers are now that we are halfway through the year. I will do another one of these at the end of the year. Most categories, it seems like, stayed pretty much the same size as they were at the beginning of the year. A couple of them did decrease, which is always nice. And really, I think the only category that went up significantly was palettes. That is definitely always my largest category. But as far as PR, because this is still pretty new territory for me, I mean, I've gotten a little bit of PR in the past, but never the amount that it has been this year. This year I feel like I hit 20,000 subscribers this year, and I noticed a definite increase in the number of brands that started asking to send me PR. And if it's a brand that interests me and that I think you guys are interested in, I usually will accept. A lot of the PR I get, I just immediately put into like a donate bin because I just know that it's not something I'm gonna need. But then a lot of it I do like to at least try out. But I think what I've decided to do from now on is have almost like a purgatory type of situation for PR. So once a PR product comes in, if it's something that I do at least want to test out, I'll probably put it in one of my 2 drawers here in my vanity. So I have one drawer that I use for my everyday makeup drawer, and the other drawer I do use for new arrivals. So I think that is going to be the purgatory. So that way I can test the product, and if I decide, this isn't really something that I want to keep in my collection, I can put it into the donate pile and not automatically add it to my inventory right away. That way I feel like I'll have a little bit more control over what products actually end up in my curated collection. Because, like I said at the beginning, I don't want my collection to just become like 90% PR. Like, I don't want the ratio of products in my collection to be, a few things that I chose to buy and then everything else is PR. I want the PR that I keep to be almost as intentional as what I buy. If I remember correctly, I think that's also how Hannah Louise Poston handles PR for her channel, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's what I'm going to start doing. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you'd like to support my channel further. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye!